Welcome to Innovation Insight, the podcast where we explore innovation in all aspects of life. I am your host, Dr. Yolanda Sanders. Today we are joined by an innovator in the retail business industry, Mark D. Leslie. Mark has held multiple leadership roles in 4 Fortune 500 companies throughout his career in the fashion industry. He is a highly experienced leader specializing in orchestrating billion-dollar businesses, focusing on merchandising, planning, strategy development, and financial analysis. He has effectively developed strategic initiatives to drive omni-channel and market share growth and profitability at companies such as Mercantile Stores, Saks Incorporated, Macy's, and Kohl's. As an experienced executive, he is passionate about fulfilling his philosophy of giving back through teaching, guest lecturing, speaking at the university level, mentoring tomorrow's leaders, and serving as a board member. I personally met Mark in 2013 in New York City at the Fashion Scholarship Fund Gala. I joke with Mark quite often that you have to be careful who you say hello to, because since that time, he has been involved in different organizations and departments that I have worked in, and he's been such a support and leader among our students at my university that I work. It's just been a wonderful friendship over the past 11 years, and he is truly a gift to both fashion industry and also our students that are entering the industry. Mark, welcome and thank you for being here. It's just a joy to be here.
Thank you, Yolanda. Those are some very kind words, so thank you. But we certainly have spent some good quality time together over the years. So I thank you for that partnership.
Thank you. Thank you. And so as we start off, would you give our listeners and viewers a brief overview of your journey in the retail industry and how you got started?
Sure, I'd be happy to. First, let me start by just saying thank you, Yolanda, for having me on this evening as part of your Innovation Insights podcast series. I'm excited to share with your listeners this evening how to build your personal brand and the importance of appointing your own board of directors. My hopes this evening is to just create some thought-provoking ideas around a topic that many of us probably do not spend enough time on, and that is your personal brand. But first, you'd asked about my career in the retail industry. I graduated from Iowa State University in the College of Business. I received my master's in marketing from the University of Missouri in Kansas City. And when I was a senior at Iowa State many years ago, I was in the decision-making process of going to work for a technology company in Texas when a retailer from Kansas City interviewed on campus. At that time, my academic advisor recommended that I interviewed with them, so I did. I flew to Kansas City, went through a few more rounds of interviews. I had the opportunity to meet the president of the Jones Store Company, who at the time was Terry Jarvis, and was offered a job in their management training program. And I had never worked in the fashion industry. I'd never worked in a store or for a retailer for that matter. And I certainly didn't study fashion when I was at Iowa State. In fact, I combined peas for Del Monte Corporation back in DeKalb, Illinois, the 4 summers I was in college at Iowa State. Quite the opposite, or probably the furthest you could get from the fashion industry. But, Yolanda, what intrigued me about the industry was that at a very young age, I was going to have the opportunity to be responsible for, manage, and run a large business utilizing, honestly, all of the principles that I'd studied in the College of Business at Iowa State. So marketing, management, managing people, accounting, finance, economics, supply chain, which at the time I think was transportation or logistics back in the day, all at the same time while being creative, a risk taker, and thinking like an entrepreneur. So that really excited me. And that began a 35-year career in the retail industry with, as you mentioned, 4 Fortune 500 companies and corporate leadership roles with several names that as you mentioned, I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with. So I have spent most of my career in the men's and the children's business and in merchandising and planning roles. And today I'm fortunate to be able to fulfill my philosophy for my passion of giving back through teaching and guest lecturing, speaking, and as you mentioned, mentoring tomorrow's leaders at the university level and serving as a board member. So it's a little bit about my background and how I got in the industry and what I've done for the last 35 years.
Well, that's wonderful, Mark. As you reflect, what were some early experiences that shaped your understanding of the fashion retail world?
Yolanda, I had a lot of wonderful mentors and work for and with what I think are some of the brightest minds in the fashion industry, which really shaped my understanding of the business. I had a business foundation, right? I came out of Iowa State, out of the College of Business. But as I said, I didn't study fashion. So I really learned early on in my career by doing, observing, and listening. I like to consider myself as a learner. I love to learn and see and hear new perspectives and everything. I was always asking questions. In fact, my